Kia ora, my name is Robbie and I'm another white man behind a desk. This week,
Colin Craig is back and he has come out swinging.
The first defamation action is against Mr. Jordan Williams. The second defamation action is against Mr. John Stringer. And the third defamation action is against Mr. Cameron Slater.
Step off my man, Colin Craig. You best be stepping off my man. Yes, Colin Craig is suing Cameron Slater, the majestic sex god, for defamation, as well as two other people, I guess. First things first, what is defamation? Well, as far as we can tell, it's this. I mean, it's just everything we're doing. We are terrified. Please don't sue us. Defamation is when you publish a false statement about someone in order to destroy their reputation. So if we were to say Colin Craig eats small children, that would be defamation. But if I had reliable evidence that Colin Craig eats small children, or if it was something everybody knew, like John Key's the Prime Minister, Colin Craig eats dead babies, then that would be fine. If I said, in my opinion, Colin Craig eats small children, that might still be defamation. But if I had evidence that he had bits of dead child in his mouth, and I said, he's got bits of dead child in his mouth, he eats small children, then that would be fine, because it's clear that the second statement is my opinion based on the first. Basically, all you need to know about defamation is please don't sue me. And while Colin Craig might not be suing me yet, he is going after the love of my life. Luckily, TVNZ, MediaWorks and Fairfax seem very eager to destroy Colin Craig's reputation any way they can.
Yes, he's a politician. Yes, I'm a journalist, and I think there's an accepted a bit of ridicule to that relationship. But I'm starting to feel like a little bit that people are just going for the personal attacks.
Journalists have always attacked politicians, but it's only in recent times that they've realised that holding politicians to account or evaluating their policies is difficult and boring. Mocking people for being weird or bullying is much easier and more effective. After all, there's nothing we like better than the warm feeling you get from mocking people who are different. And so when Jamie Wright says he believes brothers and sisters should be free to get married, it's important that we ridicule him mercilessly. Oh, sure, some people are going to say, hey, isn't that a logical and honest extension of his libertarian philosophy? But those people sound like nerds. Are you going to listen to a bunch of nerds? And Colin Craig! Remember when he walked funny? That was a great day for New Zealand journalism. TVNZ, don't listen to the nerds at the Broadcasting Standards Authority that fined you $1,500 for calling Colin Craig a smarmy nutcase. That is important work. And if Colin doesn't do anything weird for a while, ask him to. Fairfax told him to lie in the grass, and then they mocked him for lying in the grass. MediaWorks told him to get into a sauna, and then they mocked him for getting in a sauna. That's good work, and our best political journalists agree. Patrick Gower and Duncan Garner wholeheartedly congratulated David Farrier for putting Colin in the sauna, destroying his reputation, and collecting his first political scalp, because that's what good journalism is all about. Blindly attacking politicians and collecting figurative parts of their body. And it's not just the right thing to do, look how popular it is. Out of the top 10 autocompletes on YouTube, you've got Colin Craig Sauna, Colin Craig Newsworthy, Colin Craig Spa, David Farrier, Sauna Sessions. That gives Colin Craig a wide audience to express his opinion on things.
I guess if there's one point you wanted to get across on TV tonight, what would it be?
I think the thing that's at the core of what I believe in, what I think's gone wrong in New Zealand, is that
You're doing better than I am.
Good point, Colin. But even though Cameron Slater and I seem to have the support of TVNZ, Fairfax and MediaWorks, Colin Craig is still going ahead with his lawsuit. Why? Well, Colin claims that Cameron Slater took a defamatory attack dossier from Jordan Williams and worked with John Stringer to destroy his reputation by drip-feeding information to the press like an evil pipette. Now, one of the pieces of information allegedly fed to the press is not funny, and it might be triggering for some people. It was alleged that Rachel McGregor had been sexually harassed by Craig while he employed her, and while it's important that Craig has not been found guilty and we shouldn't punish him for something he might not have done, we need to be careful that by acknowledging that, we don't dismiss the words of a woman who may have been harassed at work and courageously came forward against a rich and powerful man. That wasn't funny, but that's part of the problem. Important parts of the story aren't funny, and well, that's not really okay because this is supposed to be a comedy show and I fucked up and I'm very sorry. It's not clear whether Newsworthy is supposed to be a comedy show or journalism. I don't know. It's impossible to tell. When TVNZ was fined $1,500, it was because Jesse Mulligan was hired as a comedian on a news show. David Farrier was hired by MediaWorks to be funny and charming and entertaining, and he is. is, but because of that, you don't very often see him walking the moral line of reporting on allegations of sexual harassment, because that's not fun. That's not what you talk about at parties. I mean, it's what I talk about at parties, but I'm not fun. Look, we're obviously not against political comedy. That's kind of our whole thing. But just so long as it doesn't eat into actual political journalism, and so long as we accept that bullying isn't the highest form of comedy. As we all know, the highest form of comedy is Conservative Party policies. Colin Craig wanted to introduce binding citizens-initiated referenda, presumably in the belief that, a democracy without minority rights is a better democracy. He wanted to get rid of the emissions trading scheme and replace it with nothing. That's crazy. If you want to discredit Colin Craig, you don't have to get him into a sauna, just ask him what his policies are. And Colin, if you're watching, we have a lot of student debt, and our legal protection is just keeping our fingers crossed. So, please don't sue us.